I'm Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. Take a look at this great quilt behind me. Isn't that gorgeous? We're calling it jump rings because of the oblong shape, and it just is such a fun line of fabric. It's by Cotton and Steel for RJR, and it's just a beautiful line of fabric. This is a super easy block to make, and I can't wait to show you. So to make this quilt right here, you're going to need 1 jelly roll, and you're going to need around 2 yards of background fabric. And you're also going to need about 1.5 yards for your outer border. The 2 yards of the background fabric will cover the centers, your corners, and it will also cover that first border. So all that'll be taken care of in the 2 yards. Anyway, how you're going to do this is you're going to take that background fabric and you're going to cut a square that is 5 inches by 6 inches. The reason we're using yardage for this is we wanted to give it a more oblong shape, and a charm pack just doesn't do that. So we have this nice square that is 5 inches by 6 inches. Out of your background fabric, you're also going to cut 4 2.5-inch squares because this is a block we're just going to be bordering and snowballing twice. So then you're going to take your jelly roll, and out of 1 jelly roll strip right here, I'm going to do this for you here. I'll move this up here so you can see it. I'm going to cut 2 5-inch pieces. And then I'm going to cut 2 10-inch pieces. So here's my 2 5s, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Here's my 10-inch piece. I'm going to make sure I'm still lined up here. And we're going to cut 2 10s. So we have 2 5s, 2 10s, and then we need 4 1.5-inch squares. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut 2 1.5-inch strips like this. 1.5 and 1.5, and then I'm going to lay them on top of each other, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut these into squares. So 1.5 by 1.5, and we have these 4 little squares like that. So just to recap, out of your background you're going to need a 5 by 6-inch piece of background fabric for the center and 4 2.5-inch squares. Out of your jelly roll strip you're going to need 2 5-inch pieces, and I have 2 10-inch pieces, and 4 1.5-inch squares. So let's put this block together. This is the block we're going for right here, and it's just so easy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our center piece and we're going to put our 1.5-inch squares on all the corners and snowball the corners. So what that means is I'm going to put a square on each corner, and I'm going to sew diagonally from here to here, and do that on all 4 corners. So let's go to the sewing machine and do that. Now you can iron these if you want to and make a line or draw a line. I'm just going to eyeball these from corner to corner. And then I'm just going to slide this around, and I'm just going to do all 4 corners while I'm sitting here. Okay, and one more. Now you're going to use your scissors or your rotary cutter, and you're just going to cut off these little corners. I'm going to use my scissors because it's such a little space. Sometimes that's easier for me. And I'm just going to cut off these little corners like this. Make sure my threads are cut in between the squares. And then cut off, and then iron it back. So we're going to iron right here. Make sure those are laying down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 5-inch strips, and we're going to sew them onto the sides like this. And we'll go to the sewing machine and do that. So again, this is on the 5-inch side. You just want to make sure that you line up your edges and do a nice 1/4 inch. Then what we're going to do is we're going to iron these back. And I'm just going to slide these back like this. That'll keep my dark to the outside. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our 10-inch strips on the long sides right here. So let's go to the sewing machine and do that. All right, we're going to start with this one 10-inch one right here. Line it up and go ahead and sew down. And I like to check to make sure they're lined up. I like to get a few stitches in and then pull that back and make sure I'm still lined up, and then I can just fly down that side. All right, now let's iron these back. And again, we're just going to iron from the top, and our seams will lay back nice and flat. And the last thing we have to do now is snowball it one more time. We're going to use our white 2.5-inch squares. We're going to put those on the corner and sew diagonally corner to corner. I'm going to go ahead and sew these across. Once it gets a little bigger, I like to have a line to go on. You know, the bigger the square, the easier it is to get off, and sometimes it's just safer to be, or it's better to be safe than sorry. There we go, and one more. All right, now we're going to head over to the sewing machine and we're going to snowball all 4 of these. This is such a great little block, and I just love how the quilt came out. So you're going to sew right on that line that you ironed, right on it. And that will give you a good, help you to line up your line just perfectly. Another one. Make sure your squares are lined up in the square of the corner as well. That will help you get a nice straight snowball in there. And the last one. Here we go. Okay, now we're going to trim these off, and we are going to iron them back, and we are going to be done with this block. This is so quick. So I'm just trimming about 1/4 inch right here, and I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. Okay, so this is my last corner here, and then we're going to go and press those back. So this is the block, and we are done with the block. Now, because there's 42 strips in a jelly roll, you're going to end up with 42 blocks. And so it's going to make a nice quilt that's about 70 by 80. Now, when you go to put these together, you're just going to match up your colors to your colors and your whites to your whites, so that it helps, it just lines up perfectly. You're going to put 6 across the top by 7 down. And I just wanted to show you, I have some other ones here that I was working on just for fun, just to see what it would look like with a different colored background. So take a look at this one with this background. Let me lay some of these blocks out for you here so you can see, you know, what a difference a little bit of a color change makes. Same jelly roll, same fabric, but how fun is that? So I just love this block. It just makes a really cool quilt, and it's one of those things that gives a new spin on something that's just a classic traditional block. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial from the Missouri Star Quilt Company.